Well, this one's easy, and it's easy in the wrong direction because we've gotten worse. You can't really make a case for better. Joe Hayden's a year older, which for cornerbacks probably isn't the best thing. It's not saying he's taken some steep decline. Maybe he could have a better year than last year. I don't know. It's not like he's way up there in age, but that's one thing to consider at least. But we lost our number 2 cornerback last year, Steven Nelson, who, in my opinion, was underrated both seasons, actually, 2019 and in 2020. In 2020, I know a lot of people are kind of ripping on him, especially with how he left, but I can't really name a bad game outside of the Bills game. And it felt like a lot of his big give-ups to Diggs, he was playing zone anyway. Mm-hmm. So we lose him. We also lose Mike Hilton, probably one of the best slot corners in the league. He was paid as such by our rival, Cincinnati Bengals. But we made some replacements. We replaced him with Shakur Brown, Mark Gilbert, Trey Norwood, I guess. Is he safety? Is he cornerback? DeMarcus Acey. Am I missing anyone here in terms of replacements? And we already have Cam Sutton on the roster still. Which, he can make a little bit of a jump. Yeah. He could make a little bit of a jump, bigger role. James Pierre, Justin Lane, unknowns. They could be fine, but like I said, there's just unknowns. Losing your number 2 and number 3 cornerback and replacing them with the guys that we did and just expecting Cam Sutton, James Pierre, Justin Lane to make as big of a jump to kind of level up with them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it's unrealistic, but we just not better. That's it.
Yeah. For me, man, I agree with the sentiment. I don't think that we're better. I do think we're younger, though.
Yeah.
In terms of why I like youth, because we know with older players, we saw a little bit with Joe and just around the league, with older players, they do start to slow down. They do start to have some of the injuries creep in, or you could just see where things that they were able to do beforehand, they struggle with now because, like I said, they're no longer as fast or as nimble as they once were. So I do like the fact that we're a younger group in the secondary, in particular the cornerback position. Not talking safeties just yet, just the corners. But it's a lot, like I said, of unknowns, man. A lot of unproven guys. I mean, the second in charge right now is a guy that hasn't been the starter for a full season, not once. He spot started, or he, in certain packages he starts, but he hasn't been the quote unquote number 2 or number 1 corner at all in his career. So that's a big question mark in its own self. But then you think about the other guys, the younger guys, or the undrafted free agents. Are they talented? Yes. Do they have potential? Yes. But we haven't had a chance to see it against NFL competition for a 17-game schedule. And that, I think, is what, is the more unsettling part. Because if we would at least have seen a larger sample size of Justin Lane or a larger sample size of James Pierre, I think we're even more confident on those guys, right? We're definitely high on James Pierre, but it's like, we're high on them from a 2 or 3 game sample size, not a 16 game. You're the legit number 3 corner body of work. So I think that part makes it a little bit unique also. But when you look at a guy like Marcus Gilbert, Mark Gilbert. Yeah, not Marcus Gilbert. Shout out to Marcus, though. He's retired. That's my dog. But a guy like Mark Gilbert or a guy like Shakur Brown, those 2 guys, they are versatile. Those are 2 guys where you can see, man, they have the potential to be really good players. But one has to stay healthy and the other one just has to get back to being as productive as they can be, right? So when I think of those 2 guys, intriguing, but are they better today than Steven Nelson? Are they better today than that group that has Steven, Joe Hayden, Cam Sutton, and Mike Hilton? And to me, that's the part where they're not, because they don't have the experience that those other guys had. Even though you can make a case that this guy might be more athletic than Mike Hilton, or he might be a little bit faster than Steven Nelson, as a whole, they don't have the amount of snaps and productivity that those guys have.
No, for sure. And I think both can be true, where you're high on Justin Lane or James Pierre or Cam Sutton or just the cornerback group coming in, like you're excited.
Yeah.
But if they match Steven Nelson and Mike Hilton's production over these past couple years, like, we would be thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the thing. We don't know if they are or not. And those guys were like really good for us these past 2 seasons. They were really solid, man. Like really good starters. So they could do it. But I don't know if that's, like I said, I don't think it's unrealistic. Like, it could happen, but we just don't know. So I can't be out here saying that we got better because we lost cornerback 2, cornerback 3. You could even consider Mike Hilton a starter if you want.
No, I mean, you look at the amount of snaps. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Major productivity. And just quality productivity gone with Steven Nelson and Mike Hilton. And like you said, man, even though the perception around Steven Nelson changed after he left, more so in response to how the departure was, we all said to ourselves that first year that we thought he was the best corner on this team. And then we thought last year he was still in contention with Joe Hayden. We just thought that Joe was a little bit better at the end of it. But as a whole, Steven was a very productive player in Pittsburgh.
He's 28. Like, he's in his prime. Like, he's in his prime too.
Like, we're going to talk about potential free agents that we could be looking to bring in, and he would be the perfect guy. That's the crazy part. He would be the perfect guy. But because of how everything went, like, it's just like, it's not going to work out that way.
This is an Vince Williams scenario.
Like, it's just unfortunate, but we're like, dude, did the Steelers play it wrong? You know, like, when they had these conversations, however it played out, did they not do a good enough job of articulating to him that he is an asset? And even though we wanted to do business with Cam Sutton, we still wanted you here. Is that the case? Because we saw the confusion of, all right,
is Cam Sutton taking the starting role?
Right. Like, it was a lot of missing
business. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on.
So I'm like, was that on them not conveying that to him clearly enough? Because we would love our situation if he was in here with this secondary right now, man. It would just be beautiful. But because he's not, it makes it a little bit, uneasy to see.
Yeah, and who knows?
Yeah,
if you're high on Justin Lane, Pierre, even some of these undrafted guys, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're right. Going back to saying to do it over a consistent 17 games in a regular season, that's a different story.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
All right, so let's see, man. I asked
we both said worse,
man.
though.
Yeah, we're definitely going with worse.
Does anyone say better?
That's what I'm trying to see if anyone said better. Look, they said the practice squad is going to be better. Yeah, it'd be a lot better. There's a lot more competition out there. Absolutely. All right. Now, people are high on some of the guys, though. Kenneth Berman, for example, he says thinks Cam Sutton is going to be fire. 3 fire emoji. Shout out to him on that. Then some people are asking about Steven Nelson. Some people want him to potentially come back. Others,
I would too.
But then there's still some people that don't think he was a good player as well, man. Like, it's just, within the chat. I don't know.
Why do they think that is the question?
That's a good question, man. If you don't feel that, Steven is a good player, or if y'all thought he was garbage, just, share with us in the chat. Why?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm missing. I
thought he was a good player,
give
man.
Up any big plays.
The Bills game, that was the one. And
in 2019, right?
And then obviously at the beginning of the season, we talked about just the different, like, slipping or the lack of tightness in certain coverages. But as a whole, I thought he was fine. Like, need better cleats, but other than that, I thought it was cool. Let's see. A lot of people are saying that, worse. We're gonna be worse.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really see a world where we're gonna be looking back and, oh, this is so much better. That's the thing. As long as it's as good, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to see as soon as we asked about why people wouldn't like Nelson, everybody came to his defense. Nelson was legit. He was good. All right, so here we go right here. Let's see. Steven Nelson. He said he let quite a few big plays go, and then when he was picked on, he didn't perform, and that was from Cordy Q.
I just don't remember. Is there a specific game or
like
player,
I said?
matchup?
I remember just the opening game against the Giants, but that was still more so on the other corner than Steven, just based on the coverage itself, the cover 3 concept, zombie, route combo. Like,
it was Darius Slayton, right?
Yeah, it was Darius Slayton, but it wasn't on Steven. It was on the. Now y'all catch my drift, man. It was on another player that was in the secondary. All right, we done broke this down. We ain't gonna go through it again. But that, I'm trying to think.
Stephon Diggs in the Bills game. That was it. But I swear to God, we were playing like back, and it was almost like a zone where quick slants to Diggs, and then we just wrap up a tackle after 10 or 15 yards. Yeah. But then going back to 2019, John Brown did have a really good game against them.
Yeah, it was the Bills games both years.
I can't think of anything else though, dude. He had good game against the Eagles this year, 2 interceptions. Yeah. I thought the cornerbacks were really good this year. Like, that's the thing. Like, we did have the miscommunications early on, but I didn't think cornerbacks were our issue. Our issue in the Browns game was just getting run over.
Like, I'm seeing more people say that he was better. It was more so because he was better in year 1 than he was in year 2. We do agree he took a step back in year 2, but I don't think he took a step back to being bad. I think he just took a step back to being just regular good. Whereas that year 1, you can make a case for all pro for him. Like, we were talking about him versus guys like Tre'Davious White and Stephon Gilmore. And it was like the biggest difference was they travel or follow number 1 receivers, where he alternates because Joe is on the other side, so they don't have to flip flop. But we thought as a whole, like, he was playing to that level, and he had the statistics to back it up as well. But yeah, man,
that can happen on a year-to-year basis too, where you have a really good season, then the next one's just not as good. But then maybe that third season you get back maybe in between those 2 seasons or almost close back to that first one.
Yep.
So I don't think it's like some type of crazy drop-off, because we just went through this season. I can't think of anything, dude. I can't think of anything where I'm sitting back and I'm like, oh, man, he got burned all this time. He's really screwing us. Yeah. Whereas like back in, between like 2012 to 2014, 15, we'd be complaining about the corners all the time.
Absolutely.
I didn't have too much against the cornerbacks this year outside of those first couple weeks where it felt like those miscommunication things. I think Joe Hayden maybe got burned in that Colts game on the play action. Phillip Rivers. Dude, there's nothing that really comes to mind though right now. A lot of us getting burned, I thought, were just like tight ends and running backs. Yeah, in my opinion, it wasn't struggle with tight ends. It wasn't the receivers. It wasn't like outside receivers.
Yeah. Tight ends cooked this outside of Philly. Philly had the only group of receivers that really
Oh shit!
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
Philly,
Fulgham. We should check the tape.
Yes,
who was Fulgham going up against?
It was Fulgham and Ward. Both of them dudes. Like Philly.
Actually, that would be a good answer.
Yeah, Philly. They. Whoa.
That wouldn't be a bad one to look back on.
Yes, because I was gonna say because Denver. It was the tight ends. Denver was the tight end. Yeah.
Same was Washington.
Washington was the tight end. I'm trying to think. Houston.
It was Thomas and McKissick. McKissick went off in the second half.
Yeah. We didn't have a lot. Yeah. Philly though. Philly. They were different. They got us.
But still, either way, that goes back to me saying it was beginning of the season. But
it was like first 3-4 games. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So I think
I would take Steven Nelson. Yeah, I would take Steven Nelson back. I don't see how we lost Steven Nelson and Mike Hilton.
Yeah. So Mike Hilton is like, dude, the productivity just with him alone is insane, bro. So yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt.
Unfortunately, worse.
Yes.
Unfortunately. As long as we can get close to what we were last year, I think maybe there might be some upside on these other positions that could pick up for it.
I'm with it, man.